So got these 9 magisterial districts. Okay. So there's a school board member from each one. And then there's 3 at-large members. This is different than the county board of supervisors, where there's 9 magisterial members and 1 at-large who is the chair. On the school board, we self-elect or self-select the chair and vice chair annually. So every person has their magisterial member. So for folks that are in my district, it's me, plus 3 at-large. So you have 4 people out of 12 that you can raise your voice to. So I remember when I was running, Catherine, I ended up creating my own handout that said, here is the laundry list of people you are voting for, because it was 4 school board members, 2 board of supervisors, the sheriff, the Commonwealth's attorney. You know, people, it was a bigger education for me to give them that piece of paper than my own campaign literature that said, vote for me. And I think that the more people understand how many opportunities there are to elect people, I mean, election is like a sport here. Every year you're voting, sometimes several times a year. I think we all voted 3
Exactly.
times in
Well,
different elections.
and there's been a lot of controversy about municipal elections, which impacts me because I live in a city. Independent cities had May
Yes.
elections, and they changed that, and so now it's going to be in
Yes.
November. But for those of us, in Fairfax, you voted in the presidential primary, you voted in May elections, you voted in a congressional primary, and then you voted in the general election. So we went to the polls 4
Oh,
times during
oh,
COVID in 1 year.
yeah.
But in Virginia, we have off-year elections that leads to a 4-year election cycle. So in 2023, when you'll be running for re-election, and so will the Senate, and so will the House, and so will the sheriff and the Board of Supervisors. But here's the thing, that 4th year in the cycle, after people have gone every year to the polls, is got the biggest voter drop off. So to your point, and
Yeah.
why it was so important for you to tell people, you're not just electing me, you're voting for sheriff and you're voting for all of these other people, is
Mm-hmm.
that the lowest voter turnout is for the
Is
elections of the most people and the closest to your front door.
yes. And I would love us to get away from saying, honestly, off year elections, because like there's
I
no
know,
off
it's terrible.
year.
There's
Every
no off
year
year
is
in
on.
Virginia.
Every
Yes.
year is on. And again, so I was fortunate enough to have my family move into this area from out of state last year, and I said, let me educate you about how it works here, because you're going to vote often. And
Yeah, you will.
you really, you have, but even students, I had a lovely student who was a senior, I think at Madison High School, and she volunteered with me and to drive around with me to campaign at the time. And I said, and she was an AP government. And I said, so do you know what I'm running for, like what the 100-mile district is, or what the board of supervisors was? And she didn't know the local governance structure. And I hear that's a criticism with AP, but just in general, like if we're not teaching our students, like this is what civic engagement is. It is the most local. So I really, it's not just registering to vote, but it's understanding. It's not just every 4 years. It's
I know. And
several
I think
times every year.
I think Virginia needs its own schoolhouse rock on how we vote in
Mm,
Virginia.
wish we
Set to
could.
music. I'm kind of visualizing. I hope some talented kid in one of the Fairfax
Mm.
County academies is like, we could do that schoolhouse rock. We could educate people on how we do it in Virginia, which is different from any of the other 49 states.